At Massachusetts Maritime Academy, we're bound by our shared experiences as cadets. Things have changed over the years, but our cadets are still taught, as we were, the importance of helping and supporting their shipmates and the merit of hard work. These ideals carry each of us through our lives.
We come back and mentor cadets, help them find co-ops and internships. We help fellow alumni find jobs as they transition to shoreside or when they're looking for make a job change. And we support the school through our gifts to the annual fund scholarships, where our passion has throughout the years. One way to support MMA that is not often talked about is through the 1891 Society.
The 1891 Society was created in 2001 to recognize the foresight and generosity of our alumni, family, friends, staff, and faculty who choose to establish a planned gift commitment to MMA. Members of the Society leave the Academy in their wills as beneficiaries for their life insurance, retirement accounts, or with real estate, while others generate an income for themselves through other vehicles.
As a member of the 1891 Society, you get invited to special donor recognition events, updates from the Academy leadership, parking at events when registered, and a commemorative 1891 Society pen, which I proudly wear. But more importantly, you know that you will be helping cadets for years to come by making a decision to include MMA in your estate plans. I made that decision to include MMA in my estate plans through a bequest. It was important to me as an alumnus, a parent, and a grandparent of an alumni that I make sure that MMA education is available to all those who qualify to attend long after I'm gone, because of the importance of the Academy has had on my life and that of my family. We are grateful for all that MMA has to offer and has brought to our lives.
We are grateful for you, Bill, and Nancy, and all of our 1891 Society members who choose to remember the Academy in their plans. It means so much to us to know that you believe in the mission and our cadets enough to think of them as you plan your estate. It is important to note that we have members ranging from the class of 1944 all the way to the class of 2015. We also have friends of the Academy, former faculty and staff members, and parents. As with all of those who support Massachusetts Maritime Academy, we are grateful for them.
As I mentioned earlier, I left MMA in my will, and this is the most common form of planned giving. When leaving MMA in your will, you can specify a dollar amount or a percentage of your estate or the residuals. Plus, you can decide where your money goes from the annual fund to scholarships and everything in between.
Bill, as a dedicated alumnus, parent, and grandparent of an alumni, and a member of our foundation board, I wanted to ask you some questions about the 1891 Society and yourself. First question, can you tell us a little bit about your career path?
Upon graduation from MMA, I went on active duty in the Navy. After serving on an escort aircraft carrier and the heavy cruiser Columbus, I was accepted by the Darden Business School at the University of Virginia, and where I received an MBA. I then started my career at Raytheon, negotiating government contracts, later moving to marketing management. My last position was marketing manager of Aegis radar and fire control systems for Ticonderoga and Arleigh Burke class cruisers and destroyers. In the meantime, I kept up my Navy Reserve commitment and then some, retiring as a Navy captain with a command of 6 Navy Reserve units. I also felt a sense of civic responsibility and joined the Navy League of the United States in support of the sea services, particularly the Navy and the U.S. Flag Merchant Marines. I served locally and nationally, including as national president of the 60,000 member organization. For my efforts, I received distinguished public service medals from the Navy and the Coast Guard, and awards from the U.S. Maritime Administrator and the Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Since graduating from the Academy, have you always been involved in giving back?
Well, the first time I supported MMA began when I was on active duty, working on the decommissioning of the USS Mindoro. I sent all the navigation charts to the Academy. I'm not sure that was appreciated because the cadets I heard had to update them all. I joined the Alumni Association and served 12 years on the board, including 2 years as president. Later, I was appointed by the governor to serve on the Academy's Board of Trustees, where important decisions are made relative to the cadets and administration. My last role there was vice chairman. I also enjoyed for the last 30 years or so, including attending the Academy's commencement, where I present the Navy Award, the Navy Sword, to a deserving graduate who's going in the U.S. Navy. And I can't tell you how gratified I feel now with working with some great people on the foundation board and the great work that is being done to support the education of the cadets of today and tomorrow.
That's great. So as an involved alumnus with many leadership roles, what was the motivation behind leaving MMA in your will?
About 10 years ago, my 1954 classmates set up a fund to benefit cadets. We continue to grow the fund in many ways. One of the dedicated committee organizers passed away, and he did not leave MMA in his estate plans. One other classmate made a habit of monthly donations. His participation ended when he passed away. And I know now that these dedicated classmates would have wanted to give a portion of their estate to the Academy to continue helping cadets in the future if they get around to it. They didn't get around to it. That motivated me to include the Academy in my estate, becoming a member of the 1891 Society. It is important for me to work to remind and motivate my classmates, dedicated alumni, and others to include MMA in their estate plans and become a standing member of the 1891 Society. That is our goal.
So, Bill, you chose the bequest option. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, you can make a gift that does not cost you anything during your lifetime and keeps your asset under your control. It also gives you the benefit to be able to change the bequest for any circumstances that change. Plus, bequests show the Academy how much I believe in the work being done at MMA for far into the future.
As a member, I know you're often talking with your classmates and other alumni about becoming an 1891 member. What do you tell them when you talk about joining the 1891 Society?
Some 60% of Americans do not have a valid will when they die. This is unfortunate in many cases because state laws will take over and distribute your assets in accordance with a prescribed formula, often in ways that you would not choose. You won't be able to provide extra help to particular family members who need it or benefit friends who have been close to you. And you won't be able to help the charities of your choosing, like MMA, which meant a lot to you during your lifetime.
If we have alumni who already have wills, can they set up a codicil? And tell us, what is a codicil?
A codicil is an amendment that makes one or more particular changes to a will, but otherwise leaves the document intact. A codicil thus saves the cost and complication of rewriting an entire will. It could be as simple as one sheet of paper. You sign it and get two witnesses.
Another option mentioned is making Massachusetts Maritime Academy the beneficiary of your life insurance. What are the options of this?
You can make a gift using an asset that you may have overlooked. It might even be a paid-up policy whose coverage your family no longer needs. You can create a gift that will benefit MMA in the future at little cost to you today. Plus, if you donate a policy during your lifetime, you can receive an income tax deduction for the current value.
Great. One other option mentioned is making MMA the beneficiary of your retirement account. What are those benefits?
When you do this, you escape the income and an estate tax that will both be levied on the remaining balance of your retirement. And if you leave it to when you leave it to your heirs, you can give the Academy the most taxed asset in your estate and leave the more favorable tax property to your heirs. You can continue to take withdrawals from your plan during your lifetime as you normally would. This option also allows you to change the beneficiary at any time based on the circumstances.
And how would you go about setting up Massachusetts Maritime Academy as the beneficiary of your retirement account?
Simply contact your IRA or retirement plan administrator and request a copy of the change of beneficiary form. Use the form to designate Massachusetts Maritime Academy to receive all or portion of the remainder of your plan's estates.
One thing to remember is that when you make your decision to include Massachusetts Maritime Academy in your estate plans, make sure to notify the Academy. That way we can be sure you are recognized as a member of the 1891 Society, and we can thank you.
Yes, it's important to let the Academy know so that they know what you want your legacy to be on campus. Plus, no matter the vehicle that you choose to make a planned gift at Mass Maritime, you'll be helping MMA reach our 50 million Rising Tide campaign goal.
Creating your legacy through Massachusetts Maritime Academy will benefit cadets for generations to come. For more information about planned giving, you can go to our website, maritime.edu/1891 Society. To talk with a member of our staff about the options, contact the Advancement Office at 508-830-5099 or send us an email at advancement@maritime.edu. We will help answer all the questions we are able to, but we suggest that you connect with your financial advisor or an attorney as you make your plan.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Looking forward to seeing the list of the fellow 1891 Society members continue to grow.